Unit 15, Gateway. The expansion of sports tourism in the 20th century has been influenced by further developments in transportation. Just as the railways revolutionized travel in the 19th century, so the automobile produced even more dramatic changes in the 20th. The significance of the car in the development of sport and tourism generally has attracted considerable coverage, and it has had no less an impact on sports tourism specifically. Although originally invented towards the end of the 19th century, it started to become a mass form of transport in the 1920s in the USA, and rather later in Britain. Apart from its convenience and flexibility, the car has the additional advantages of affording access to many areas not served by public transport, as well as allowing the easy transport of luggage and equipment. As a result, it was invaluable for the development of many forms of sports tourism, but especially those which required the transportation of people and equipment to relatively remote locations. Exercises. Number 1. AI technologies are of great importance in terms of managing processes such as diagnosis and diagnostic tasks in the field of health. Wearable technology with AI systems provides considerable benefits in terms of early disease identification and regular health monitoring. Sensors detect signs such as heart rate, blood temperature, and a person's workout habits, and this data can be monitored in real time. The data collected and processed with wearable technologies have the potential to improve the health status of users, as well as provide significant benefits for public health. This is especially valuable in terms of developing preventive health policies. Number 2. When we're in positive moods, we often develop a sense of naive optimism. For example, one factor that sustains a financial bubble is irrational exuberance, a term coined by Alan Greenspan, former chairman of the Federal Reserve. During the dot-com bubble in the late 90s, stock prices of internet companies skyrocketed over several years, rising to a point where the underlying financials of those companies didn't support the overinflated stock prices. As stock prices continued to rise sharply, people developed a sense of naive optimism and irrational exuberance. The positive emotions they experienced from their large gains led to a false assumption that stock prices would continue to rise, a perception that blinded them to the imminent burst of the bubble and the resulting depletion of their bank accounts. Number 3. The human brain seems to be programmed for song. So fundamental is the human capacity for music that it may have evolved even before speech. Physiologists have shown that a mother's lullaby does double duty by lowering a child's arousal levels while simultaneously increasing the child's ability to focus attention. Music therapists have found that listening to music induces the release of pleasure-producing endorphins that both lower blood pressure and ease the sensation of physical pain. Social scientists believe that music, by bringing people together to perform and listen, may have provided an early model for social cooperation, cohesion, and even reproductive success. If this is correct, then music would seem to be a fundamental building block in the development of culture. Number 4. A general evolutionary advantage for taking pleasure in math would be in seeing patterns in what would otherwise be an overwhelming amount of information. The ability to reduce information to succinct quantitative relationships with broad generalizable properties is a skill that would have enabled early humans to quickly gather important information from their environment. The discovery of underlying structural relationships in the world would have helped them master their surroundings. The simpler the final formulation, the easier and more useful it would have been in the mental toolkit of our ancestors. Those ancestors who found pleasure in playing with mathematical relationships, who enjoyed seeing underlying patterns in complex environments, who could capture these relationships succinctly, improve their chances of survival. We find pleasure in these desiccated mathematical objects because our ancestors that experienced such pleasures were the ones who survived and gave birth to us.